Okay, yeah, we're live right now. So, so what's big in the news right now, Lemar, is these fires down in the LA area.
Yes.
Yeah, they're calling like this video right now that we're going to review. It's in Pasadena, right?
Yeah, it's a Palisade.
Pasadena Palisades. It's like right above the LA area, right?
Yes.
I mean, what's going on? I mean, why is it so bad?
Man,
It's because that area is in the hills, correct?
yes, it's in the hills. And right now, Mother Nature is, not on our side, with the winds, the conditions being dry, which right now you would think that, everything would be wet, it's freaking January,
Yeah, exactly.
you
It
know?
should be raining.
Right, right, right. And it's crazy, high winds, it's like the perfect storm, you know, it's
So a fire in the mountains where there's a valley, the wind goes through the valley, and it seems like when wind goes through like valleys, it it's amplified.
we catch it here.
Am I correct in thinking that it's amplified?
I would think so. I mean, we catch the winds here.
And then
In
when
the
something's
valley,
burning hot, what's going to make it burn hotter?
more
Wind,
oxygen.
wind,
Yep,
right?
that wind, that oxygen in that wind, just pumps it up and just makes it crazy. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I've already heard of people dying. I've already heard of people losing their homes. It's like I on my podcast, I like to make upbeat, uh, like comical videos. There's nothing comical about this. Obviously, there's nothing that can be joked about.
they're saying up to 9,000 structures, are damaged
Yeah.
from being burnt to the ground or damaged. You know what I mean? 9,000 structures.
So you've been researching a little bit about the story.
I,
How many people passed away already?
they're saying 5 to 6
Forget
people.
forget about the structures. I like bigger than that is people losing their lives.
Right,
Right.
right, and that's the worst part of it. Um, you think about it, and it doesn't matter if it's one or a million. You know what I mean? Losing a life in any kind of
Yeah.
destructive, you know, uh, situation, sucks. And right now they're saying 5, 6 people, right? But they still haven't been able to go through the wreckage of the damage that is being caused right now. So it's
Yeah,
not
I know.
confirmed.
It always seems like something like this when there's been reported deaths after the fact. When it's all said and done, that number always grows.
Yes, and that's sad.
Unfortunately,
That's
yeah,
very sad. That sucks for a lot of people.
yeah.
And my heart goes out to the families that are losing family members.
Anybody
Yes,
or even their house that they've been in all their life.
right, right. People have been born and raised, let alone there's generations that have been in these houses. You know that you lose everything,
Yeah,
everything. I went through a situation as a younger kid where we moved and everything that we had was put into storage and up till like 7th grade, and we lost our storage. So everything that I have till 7th grade was lost.
yeah,
So I mean, and that's minute to what these people are going through.
yeah. Exactly.
But I I mean, to lose a certain part of your life, but to lose your whole, we're talking generations. It could be great grandparents own the property, and and go down the line, and that you just lost everything.
It's a generational thing. Yeah.
Yes.
So with that said, man, I mean, we come across this video,
Yeah.
and the video is entitled "James Wood Rips Blithering Idiot Newsom, the governor of California, after losing his home in wildfire." And this was the first video that I came across, so that's why we're using it. I didn't like research videos, so regardless of what people think of like Fox News or James Wood, this is the video we're using. Without further ado, let's go ahead and play the video.
All right. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So, and then we'll pause at key points where we want to talk. That way we can just go through the timeline naturally.
All right, we're going to come back to this press conference in Pasadena as it warrants. But no one has been spared from this inferno, including celebrities like James Woods.
Standing in my driveway getting ready to evacuate. We've got a lot of planes going over, dropping water, but
okay, I'm gonna pause it right there real quick. Now, we're not gonna make this about James Woods,
Right.
But what do you know about him, like briefly, real quick?
So, James Woods, he's now 77. He is involved in 140 something movies and projects to do with movies. Obviously, he's got a home, in the Palisades, and he losing his home.
So what the news anchor said is like nobody's immune from this fire, including celebrities. So
yeah, your status right now in that fire with Mother Nature don't care who you are. You could be the best, the poorest, the richest, you could just be a superstar, whatever. Yeah, there's no discrimination with Mother Nature. Mother Nature is not going to discriminate.
Once disaster hits, it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, you're just a person, and this is where, like any other major disaster that's happened in the United States, people come together, and it's a beautiful thing that people come together and help each other.
And it just so happens on this video that we are reviewing, they showcase James Wood and his words on what's going on, on the tragedy. So this headline right here says feels like losing a loved one. James Wood on losing a home to LA wildfire. Well, I mean, losing a home is very tragic. I would put losing a loved one
a little bit higher,
way higher. Yeah,
yeah.
You can always rebuild a home.
Yeah,
you can't bring a loved one back.
No.
But with that said, let's keep going on. Let's keep going on with it.
James Woods joins me now. James, you posted a video that I watched last night. I think it's right after you posted it, coming right up to
this
your
is
death.
His video, right?
Yes, I think that
I would, because he said you posted a video and this is the video that's playing. This must be the one he took.
Yeah, or his, house.
If I was to guess,
yeah, his Ring cameras, or whatever that he's got, his security cameras that he's got around his home.
Right. Watching it now, I'm so sorry for everything you and all of your friends and all the residents of California are going through tonight. Do you know what's happened to your home since?
It's astonishing that what happened during this experience was that we found out that none of us is a celebrity. None of us is a poor person or a rich person, a Democrat or a Republican. We were just neighbors, just really helping each other. That one video was my neighbor who, after we had evacuated, before he evacuated, ran down to my house to try to stop that fire coming over my deck because he saw it from his deck. I mean, amazing. A fellow named Robert Trinkteller.
Let me pause it right there real quick. He said it best right there. Doesn't matter who you are. Rich person, poor person, Democrat, Republican. What you are right now in this time of tragedy, your neighbors.
Yeah, right. And you're in a tragic situation.
Help your neighbor.
Yeah. And that it helps to have a good neighbor, that's going to help.
There's something about being a neighbor. Let's say my neighbor house is on fire, and let's just say I hate this dude. We just don't get along. If his house is on fire, all that goes out the door.
No, definitely. You're going to do.
I'm making sure they're getting out of that house.
My brother had a situation like this. The neighbor's house caught on fire. you know.
Okay.
And my brother was out there with the water hose as much as he could. Wasn't doing much, you know. But
was it a case where he didn't? Where?
No. I mean, he got along with the neighbor.
Okay.
But even still, you know, I mean, he was there with his water hose, you know, spraying as much as he could do,
doing what you can, yeah.
Until till the fire department got there, you know, and I think that's human nature.
Yeah,
I really do. You know, I mean, you could hate your neighbor, but you can't hate your neighbor that much, you know, to want harm due to a person.
When a certain tragedy hits, I think you automatically put yourself in their shoes.
It's human nature.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you would just have to be a cold-blooded person to watch your neighbor's house burn down with somebody in it, you know?
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
If you're my neighbor and I know you're in it and the house is on fire, I guarantee you I'm going in there trying to pull your fucking ass out.
Do what do the best that you can to save, you know, and help them, you know. Hey, and that made me the crossroads where that bad neighbor is never again, because he's like, man, you know what? Our little dispute over property line or whose chicken's too loud or dog's barking too much, it's really not worth it, because you know what? This guy helped me out.
It goes out the window if you see this guy who you're disputing with is running into danger to help you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and it sucks that sometimes it takes that. You know what I mean? It may take that, you know, I mean, some people put up years with neighbors that are just, you know, pains in the ass. But, you know, when tragedy hits, I think it's human nature to help. Definitely.
Move on with the video, man.
It was, as devastating as it was an extraordinary experience of realizing how essential good neighbors, good friends, good relatives. I've had people call me. I did a movie with Walter Goggins, a wonderful actor, years ago.
Good point you just made, man.
I talked to him once or twice. I just got a call.
It's essential to have good neighbors
from him.
No,
here's my address. The keys are in the car. I'm out of town. Use our house. Here's all the codes. I mean, people offering us their homes and so on. And that's my beautiful home there. Was my beautiful home. So
it sucks, man.
All I know now from him, he stayed overnight, which he shouldn't have done, but he did, fighting the fire. There was no water pressure, of course. All the fire hydrants were dead, as we now know. The fire trucks were there, but they couldn't pump water, as it turned out.
To this press conference in Pasadena.
Oh, shit. I accidentally restarted.
You know, it's a little paradise in the hills.
Your comments about neighbors.
It's possible our one house it was as if you could, you know, track the fire as it was going through your roof in the pool. And this morning texted me and said, look, I had 3 hours sleep. Which you shouldn't have done.
There it is.
He did. Fighting the fire. There was no water pressure, of course. All the fire hydrants were dead, as we.
That's
don't mind them malfunction.
That's where I wanted to put it. He said all the fire hydrants were dead.
Yeah, no, that's a whole nother level of crazy. Like, how do you live in a multi-million-dollar neighborhood and your fire hydrants don't work?
How do you live in any neighborhood and your fire hydrant? Because if it's there, that means if there's a fire, the fire department go hook up to it.
Well, you better not give me a ticket for parking in front of that son of a bitch.
If it don't work, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you know, I mean, and that's you know, this whole thing, you know, that's going on over there. That's a whole nother. That's another topic, you know, that just blows my mind.
This
aren't them big ass water towers? Those tanks that right there off I-5, right? Any town you drive into, they got these big water towers, right? Aren't those supposed to be full of water?
It's like a reserve, right?
You know, like
now I don't really. I'm not going to perpetrate being educated on exactly what those water towers are for, but I know they're for a reason. And if they're there for a reason, why are they empty?
Did too many of them rich guys fill up their fucking swimming pools?
Just like in a burning down neighborhood, there's multiple fire hydrants. Why is there not water coming out of a fire hydrant that is for emergency purposes.
Right. I mean, I've worked for plenty of companies, be it construction. You know, construction always uses, fire hydrants, watering trucks during the summer, keep the dust down. I've never seen a fire hydrant not work. We even hooked up to a fire hydrant one time and the fire truck showed up because there's sensors or alarms on there. Yeah, fire truck showed up because this certain fire hydrant was being used and they were like, hey, there must be a fire over there. But to not have water in a fire hydrant, that its name says it, fire hydrant.
Yeah. Hydrate a fire.
Right. And that's the whole purpose of it. You want to hydrate that bad boy till, it goes out.
Let's get back to this video real quick.
We now know the fire trucks are there, but they couldn't pump water, as it turned out. He fought the fire himself of his house with a bucket in the pool. And this morning texted me and said, look, I had 3 hours sleep. I just got up. The houses on either side of you have burned down. Every house across the street from you is burned down, but I can see your roof. Now, I have a wooden house with wooden beams.
So I'm not trying to, make it a joke out of this, but this dude's house on fire and everything around him, and he slept for 3 hours.
Well, some people sleep. You don't know what's going on, man. I'm a hard sleeper myself.
Well,
Unless someone is like knocking me in the face.
I would not be sleeping if there was a danger of my house and everybody in the neighborhood burning down.
Yeah.
I would not be saying like, yeah, I got 3 hours sleep. Nah,
you ain't getting no sleep.
A smoke inhalation,
Yeah.
The whole neighborhood's on fire. I'm just saying,
So I want to have a feeling that James Wood is the one filming this video right here. I think that's why they're showcasing it.
Well, so, I was thinking the same thing. Okay, look at everything's on fire.
Yeah,
no water. He's got plenty of electricity cracking. So you got backup batteries on his cameras. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't have a security system. Obviously, I mean he's a millionaire, right? He obviously has. But I'm thinking, I don't think he's out there exactly with a camera. I'm thinking maybe it's his security cameras. Shooting footage.
Okay, yeah.
Of whatnot.
Because
but the fact that he still has electricity, I guess he's got to back up somewhere. It's $1 million homes.
Yeah, if this video that they're showing is cameras on his home, yeah, he still has electricity.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking at a swimming pool. I would myself, I would have a sump pump in that bad boy, just flooding my yard, flooding my house,
doing what you can because that's your livelihood. That's your life right there.
Yeah. It's crazy though. It's just like, man, it's on fire.
If you can see my roof, it may be gutted. It may be, we don't know. And all we know is that at midnight, when the trucks were there, all the fire alarms were going off in our house remotely to our phones. Sarah and I were both getting, hallway monitor is on, bedroom monitor is on. It was as if you could, track the fire as it was going through your house. But it could have been the smoke from the houses next door. I don't know. So it's possible. I don't think it's very likely, but it's possible our one house is standing, even though all our wonderful neighbors and every one of them is a friend and been wonderful to us and us, I hope, to them.
James,
it's a little paradise in the hills.
Your comments about neighbors being critically important. And so oftentimes now in our busy lives, we don't even know our neighbors, or people cocoon themselves and don't. But I think your point at such a time of great tragedy is one that we should all take in tonight. Get to know the people around you. Get to know them.
Well, there are people who will probably say, oh, you sound like you're, doing a Hallmark movie, talking about the love of your neighbors. Well, next door to us, the house below us, and I think you have a video right where that fire is, the house next to us, right to the right of that tree. In fact,
so this is his video. like what he's saying right now, that lets me know this is the video that he posted.
Yeah.
That tree's on his property, believe it or not. Is a 94-year-old gentleman who has advanced dementia. He has a caregiver. He was in the hospital, so thank God he wasn't.
And he
there
knows
during
his
the fire.
neighbors.
We
Obviously.
thought.
Yeah.
We get down the hill after we evacuate. Robert was still up the hill. We get down the hill, and I said to Sarah, you know, we've got to call Francis, his son, who lives in, I think he's a professor at Harvard or something, just make sure his dad isn't in the house. I think he's in the hospital, I'm pretty sure. We called, and he said, what's going on? I said, well, you know, there's a fire in the Palisades. He said, oh, no, I've been in a meeting. This is right at the beginning, because we were at the epicenter of the beginning of the fire. And I said, you know, your dad's in the hospital, right? He goes, no, he's in the house with a new caregiver. I don't know who they are. Well, it turns out what happened was I called 911. I finally got through to somebody. The fire department. That's the house right there. That's his house.
The house that's on fire right now is the person's house who he's talking about.
Right.
Because he's watching the same video that's live, apparently. He's like, that's the house right there.
Yeah, and you know, and he says, you know, like his neighbors, right? And you know, coming from, I mean, you should know your neighbors.
Yeah.
And I never really knew my neighbors. I guess it's just, you know, where I lived, or, you know, you keep to yourself, you do your own thing, and, you know, whatever. Moving to where I'm at right now, I know my neighbors. You know, I have Keith. If you're facing my house, I have Keith on the left side, you know, and I got Aaron on the right side. Even across the street, you know, the neighbors. And it was a trip because when I first moved to this house in this neighborhood, which is, I've, you know, rented plenty, you know, but I ended up buying over here on the north side.
Yeah.
I had people showing up at my house with like little plants. Welcome to the neighborhood. Box of cookies. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I was tripping. I was like, babe, these fools scoping out our shit. You know what I mean? Because that was something that.
What kind of spies are these?
Yeah, you know, but it's awesome, you know, that, you know, you get to know your neighbors, you know, and you know, in a situation, you know, I know that there's so many people should be in this house. So many people should be in this house, you know. So if you do have to go in there, yeah, there's a certain number of people that you can look for. You know, in a situation, you know, if his house was on fire, if Keith's, my friend Keith, you know, my neighbor, if his house was on fire, I know it's, you know, him, his wife, and 3 kids, you know, and if I get, you know, the 3 kids out and they're, hey, mom's at work, dad's at work, okay, you know, I think that's something you should know. You know, I mean, you should get to.
So it seems like when it comes to neighbors, like some neighbors are like very worried about some neighbors being too noisy. Oh, it seems like they're always watching my house. They know what's going on.
But that's not a bad thing.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is like it's good for neighbors to keep a lookout for their neighbors.
Yes.
Like don't misconstrue just good intentions for being nosiness.
Right. You know, but it depends.
But we all know the nosiness does exist.
You know, and it does.
Not ignoring that.
And I've learned to accept that as being a good thing. You know, they're not trying to steal your shit.
It's weighing it out.
Yeah,
it's weighing out the circumstances.
I guess it depends on where you live. You know, and I've lived in them neighborhoods. You know, where hey, they could be stealing my shit. You know, they might be scoping my garage out, whatever. You know, but my neighbors come to my house and go, hey. So my camera is showing that someone was in your yard yesterday. Or last night.
So putting our lives aside and being in $1 million neighborhood like this, where movie stars and very rich people are,
yes,
it's a different mentality, right? So I don't think they got to worry about that. I wouldn't think in a so much money neighborhood. It's all about, hey, we're all rich. We're trying to help each other out. Nobody's thinking about.
I think their problem would be like, oh, we're just relying on security.
But I don't know if they talk about it in this video, but I know one of the videos that we watched, it talked about people looting in these neighborhoods.
Oh, that's a whole nother. Oh, fuck.
Right. I mean,
That is
I
fucking-
don't know if they speak on it in this video, but I know we touched on one of those videos.
That's bullshit. Oh,
It's
no.
a certain type of POS. It's
Yeah.
a certain type of POS.
Piece
to
of
do that.
shit. Like, yeah, no,
So let's move on with this video and see where we go.
And we could look down into his window. And I got someone in the fire department. I said, look, this 94-year-old guy with dementia, he doesn't even know that you've got to get to that house. We'll get there. We'll get there. So Robert went down. It turned out, he said, no, there's nobody there. And he said, the front door's open. It turned out later that the fire department had said to the caregiver, who was new and not from this country and probably a little afraid of authority, and I say that kindly, they said, you must evacuate. We will come back for him. Don't worry. And they either forgot or they hadn't gotten there yet.
Oh, my goodness.
So Robert went in the house. He said, there's nobody here. I said, they keep him in a little room that used to be the so-called maid's room. It's around the kitchen. I've been in the house because he used to fall out of his chair and we'd go over.
So did they get
help.
him out, James?
They got him out and the house burned down an hour later.
Oh, my.
I mean, so
I mean,
they got him out and the house burned down an hour later. I mean, it sounds like some divine intervention right there. I mean,
that's a good neighbor.
They got him out.
That's a good neighbor that knew, you know what I mean? Like I said, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There should be this many people in that house. Obviously he knew, the neighbors,
enough where they keep the 94-year-old guy with dementia.
Yeah. Yeah. And, this fire is crazy. I don't mean to change the subject. I'm not really changing the subject, but, according to the numbers, that they're showing as of, Thursday morning, it's 15,000 acres. And then Thursday night, we're looking at 17,000 acres, which is about 27 square miles of fire. 27 square miles. That's
the size of a city.
It's
right?
Huge, and the displacement of people that they had to say, hey, you need to move. Look it out now. You know what I mean? 179,000 people. They said, you're in danger. Your life is in danger. You need to get out.
Because you got to think with those numbers, and it's very windy with the weather conditions over there. you got to think that's how many acres are burning so far, but how quick is that going to be to double?
Well, and you got to remember, like how many exits do you have out of this place? 179,000 people were told evacuate now. Now, they were like, 179,000, that's a lot of people. That's over half of Stockton.
What's the population of Stockton?
Stockton's like 315,000 people, yeah. and if it's 319,543 people in Stockton as of 2023, right? It's, even if you gave it a couple thousand, I mean, it's not going to be hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
That's over half of Stockton. You're telling them leave now. That's crazy.
No matter what direction you go, it's going to be chaos.
Yeah, and I mean, can you imagine
people,
if there's only one or two ways in and out, the congestion that's going to, happen. And I think I've seen some videos just to make access for fire department. Bulldozers were bulldozing cars. Tractors were moving cars out of the roadway so that there was access for the emergency.
Make a path, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
You heard about that down in LA right now on this one?
One of the Pasadena, Palisade, fires. I mean, they had to bulldoze these cars because people literally just left their cars in the middle of the road and
and it seems like the case in point that this guy James Wood made is like It doesn't matter who you are, movie
Yeah.
star, poor person,
No
black,
discrimination. None.
white, Republican, Democrat.
None.
We're all neighbors. We need to help each other out.
Yeah.
This is truly one of those situations to where it doesn't matter who you are. We're all neighbors.
And the fact that I mean, the number could grow. I hope it doesn't. I pray to God that it doesn't. That the death toll being
Yeah.
at 5 or 6 people, out of what is happening. Hey,
And I hate to say it, but statistics show that after the tragedy like this, the number
Yes.
always grows. I
Yes.
mean, it's just the way it is.
but
Unfortunately,
let's pray that only it stays. But
yeah, the very minimal number. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Let's finish up this. Let's continue on this video.
There are probably so many stories like that. I mean, that we're going to hear thousands of stories of people who are elderly, alone, might live alone,
And
trying to save their
his
pets,
son-
go back in.
Oh yeah, his son was he was out of his mind. Got here. He said, "We don't even know how to find him because he's at the hospital. He doesn't know his name. He just found him. We found about
James,
an hour ago."
James, I want to ask you about something that when you said last night we couldn't get any water. There was no water at the hydrants.
Yeah.
A lot has been discussed today about why that is. We're going to get into a little bit more of that in the next segment. But you guys pay, I think, the highest taxes in the United States. If not, you and New York are kind of tied, or Illinois, but among the highest.
Yeah.
No water in the hydrants. 17.6 million cut from the fire
What
department.
the heck?
Karen
Yeah.
Bass,
Yeah.
a recent headline.
Karen
I think you
Bass,
might have
holy
tweeted that out
shit.
from the New York Post.
Yeah. And our new fire chief.
She didn't even know
has
that the fire was cracking. She was out of country. She was in another.
And who's this?
She is the like the head chief or something like that, like of the fire department
Okay.
or something.
So she's a high up.
She is the one that cut the what they say, like $1.7 million budget for the fire department, right? And she was like in, I don't know where the hell she was. I don't want to, I don't want to say a name, but she wasn't even in country.
What'd she want to do with that money to cut it?
Like, why?
Put it in her own fucking pocket? Is that what we're talking about?
Like, why?
And by the way,
Yeah.
Why would you cut an emergency funds? It's like saying, like, okay, well, we haven't used that many ambulances this last fiscal year.
Sounds like scandal to me, bro. Sounds like scandal.
So let's only put 3 ambulances out there. We're gonna only fill up 3 ambulances with petrol, and bam, this hits.
Yeah.
And you need ambulances, and yeah, and her interview, one of her interviews, she did not say nothing. She literally zero. She did not say nothing. And she walked out to a tarmac, with planes. I don't know where she was going or coming or going or whatever she was doing, maybe just escaping. And now, she finally gets on the microphone and wants to talk. And it's not going to make sense. I don't care what she says. You cut it. You cut.
And then this happens.
Exactly.
You cut the budget to the fire, and then this happens.
Because you're like, oh yeah, what are the chances?
And then the fire department are going to the hydrants, and no water's coming out.
Yeah, and you can't blame the fire department.
No.
You can't blame the personnel. That they don't have enough people because the budgets were cut. Well, you can't hire nobody because we don't have enough money to hire people. Where they put the money at, I don't know. I didn't research it that much. I'm not.
Yeah.
We're
not investigating the books right now, but
it makes me. I've never been political, and
something like this wants to make you political.
It wants to
as fuck.
Yeah, it wants you to want to dig into like, what are these people doing with this money? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the fact that I don't know how true it is. Like, really, did Newsom divert all this water to save a fucking fish?
Yeah.
Really? You know what I
A
mean?
fish that nobody's really heard of.
It's a smelt, right? They use it for
Yeah.
bait. You know what I mean? The whales eat it. There's no commercial use that I know for smelt.
It sounds like some
It's
political
bait.
BS, man. I think they might touch on that in this video. Let me see.
LA Fire Department is fantastic. The people, it's like the people who work for the federal government, so many of such good people, but the people in charge, she took over and she put on her bio that her priority, my highest priority, is inclusion, diversity, and equity. That is my priority. And somebody forgot to fill all the reservoirs, I guess, with water, because when I was getting smoke alarms, there was a fire truck parked in front of my house. But they couldn't pump any water because there was none, because they didn't put them in the reservoirs. Okay? And they were busy cutting, look, it's the same we had with all the crime we have in our neighborhood, in Los Angeles, when we had that idiot Gascon. They just didn't care. Everybody was running loose. They were smashing places. You couldn't walk down the street.
A return to competent leadership. This may be a wake-up call. We're not trying to make this political, but when you can't get water and your homes are burning and you have people trapped in their homes who don't have the ability to walk out, that's a problem. That's a real problem that has to be solved.
Yeah, forget about not getting political. When it's time to get political, let's get political.
Yeah, and it's too fucking late.
So when people are dying and neighborhoods are burning down, I think damn straight time to get political.
Right. But but it's fucking too late. It's too late. You know what I mean? And now all these motherfuckers got to start backpedaling.
Well, certain people backpedal, but it's time to get political in certain ways to prevent this from keep happening.
Forever happening again.
Because if change doesn't happen, it's going to happen again.
They should have a crew.
So, James,
I'm sorry.
They should have a crew. Over the whole United States. You don't just subject it to, California because we have wildfires. No, there should be a crew going testing every goddamn fire hydrant from California to goddamn New York.
And if it doesn't work, figure out, hey,
why it ain't working.
What's the problem?
Exactly. Like, that should be top number one, problems, that should be solved. Yeah. Why is there no pressure?
And it sure as well shouldn't be because of the decision a governor made to why water should not run to this neighborhood.
Yeah, because we got to save a fucking fish. Yeah.
James, I'm glad you were, I think you were the first one to actually put that out there last night.
Laura, with all due respect, if it is true that things were handled this way, if it is true that Gavin Newsom is the absolute blithering idiot that I believe he is in the way he has handled fire management in this state again and again and again and again, this isn't a wake-up call. This is the kind of thing they have tribunals for, where they try people and say, you had an oath of office to perform certain duties. When you're the fire chief, this isn't a social justice exercise that you're in charge of. This is you getting water to areas that need water because there are fires in 100-mile-an-hour winds burning houses to the ground. I watched on a Ring camera a guy have to sit and watch his pet burn to death. Those things are issues of the heart when you watch a cherished little pet. Or, look, my home is a building. It was we worked 3 years putting the homes together. We loved our little house, but it means nothing compared to the 5 people who lost their lives.
Exactly.
He hit it right there.
Nail on the head. You know what I mean? Like, nailed it. Material things are always, replaceable, but you can't replace a family member.
Yeah.
And especially if it's due to stupidity.
Now, if the governor, Gavin Newsom, purposely cut off water to these neighborhoods to where the fire hydrants don't work, I want to say he's got some blood on his hands. I mean, I'm not a political guy.
Right.
I don't want to be that accusatory, but this is major when there's major fires going on, and the fire hydrants, which are everybody thinks like the fire department's going to go to, hook up to, and save your house.
Yeah.
If no water's in there, why?
It's not the fire department's fault.
Exactly.
They're not the one. There's, there's higher ups, that say, well, we'll divert the water here. We'll divert the water there. This should be a high priority. But a fish ain't a fucking high priority to a life of a human.
No,
it's not. I don't give a shit if it's the last fucking hairy-eyed fish wears makeup on the fucking weekends. I don't give a fuck what the speciality is on the animal.
You don't make decisions that will possibly kill humans to save a fish, which what wild animals eat.
Yeah,
what humans eat.
Yeah. I don't see. I mean, you can go to Food for Less and you can get smelt. You can, and it's a fish that you can buy, but it's not a high priority. It's not that high of a priority. It's not. It's not worth saving a goddamn fish that could save. It's going to be billions of dollars. You know what I mean? In people's lives. And their livelihood.
Well, yeah. When you say billions of dollars, that's going to be true. But who cares about that when you hear about the death count of human bodies?
Right. No, and I get that. It's not worth it. And yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm from that generation. That I don't care what animal it is. And people may hate me for it. I don't care what animal it is. If it's going to cost a human life, that animal is not worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. It could be the last horned beaked owl or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? If it's going to cost a human life to save that bird,
it's got to go.
The bird's got to go. I'm sorry.
It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is.
But there's people that make
this call.
Yeah, I hear you. And again, we're going to learn a lot more about this, but we know a lot already. And we're going to get into some of this next segment. Not all was kumbaya out there today. Specifically, one individual who goes by @PiperK on Twitter, on X, I guess a former faculty member at Mizzou, Karen Piper, she tweeted, and she since deleted the tweet, "James Woods' house is burning down. It's karma calling."
What the fuck? It's karma calling?
That's the same dumbass that wants to save a fucking bird or wants to save the fucking fish.
Retired professor blasted by university for offensive remark about California wildfires. James Wood house is burning down, she wrote. It's karma calling.
Like, what did he do?
So I guarantee you it's because she's a Democrat and he's a Republican. That's exactly
that's what it sounds like. I mean, it goes back to the neighbor thing, right? She's not his neighbor, right? And I guarantee her house ain't in fire.
Exactly. She's probably not even in the state.
And because if she was his neighbor, he would be helping her.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
No,
because that's what he's saying. He helped his neighbor with the dad that had dementia. He knew where he lived. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if it was like the other way around and she saw him burning down and she was like, "Oh, this is fucking karma," and you can sit there and watch, fuck this bitch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the words, but fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
This is fucking crazy. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and contain myself from
it pisses me off too. You know what I mean? Like, these people, like I said, her house probably ain't on fire, and let alone she probably don't even live in the state. And if she does live in the state, it's fucking far away from that goddamn
and to
fire.
Sit back and say, "Oh, karma's calling."
What has he ever done?
It's not karma.
I mean, I doubt there's anything that he could have done as a citizen.
Don't let me make my channel political, because I would fucking go crazy. I'm trying not to cross the threshold just yet.
No,
let's finish this up.
Retired prof.
Yeah.
University.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, when I read that, I look for a curb so that I can find some place to scrape her off my shoe. I'm more concerned about my neighbors and their
Exactly.
homes that they lost. I don't really care what she has to say. She
Yeah.
means nothing to me. She is to me a fleck of spit on the arc of infinity.
Well, that anyone would think any of that about anyone at a moment like this, especially someone who suffered such a loss and whose neighbors have suffered everything. Like when you're driving down the PCH now, and a lot of the videos from last night and continuing today, James, I lived in California on and off. I couldn't stop watching this. I was like, wait a second, is that where the Real Inn is? You know, the old Real Inn on the PCH? Gone. You know, restaurants gone.
I'll give an example
Homes
of that,
gone.
Aaron. There's a little restaurant there, and they have a billboard, and in chalk every day, as you go by,
Yeah.
they'll have some joke about fish with a saying. It's very funny. Sarah takes pictures of them every day for her Instagram and so on. It's just a charming little kind of surfer shack, from another time. You were showing a little area in the Palisades by the village there, and it was a little square. I don't know if you recall it just a few moments ago. On the 4th of July in the Palisades, everybody would have folding chairs that would be set out with their names on them, and would have a little 4th of July parade. Everybody had flags. It was like America at its best. Nobody cared whether you were a Democrat or a Republican or black or white or green or yellow or gay or straight. It was people celebrating the 4th of July in a beautiful little neighborhood with sidewalks, and you feel safe, and there's no tents and needles and crap. And, it is paradise.
James, the devastation
Paradise
is going
lost.
to be, I can't even, it's beyond comprehension right now. But thank you for reminding us what matters: our family, our faith, our first responders, the heroes among them, our neighbors. Be a neighbor. James, that is not Hallmark. That is the truth. And you taught us all something tonight, and reminded us all of something we should already know.
I'm
Godspeed,
so
my
honored
friend.
to be on your show, Laura. I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News.
Yeah, so they said it best right there. Family first, neighbors first. Doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican. Neighbors are neighbors, man.
Yeah. And
you help your neighbor.
Yeah,
that's how it should be.
I was raised. You don't shit in your backyard, your own backyard.
Yeah.
So, I fully believe in knowing your neighbors, knowing your neighborhood, and you take care of your neighborhood.
Now, let me interrupt. I mean, that's not to say we're not saying you can't dislike your neighbors, because disagreements happen. If my neighbor's a piece of shits, they're a piece of shits.
Right.
But if their house is on fire, piece of shit or not, that's my neighbor. I'm not going to watch it burn. I'm going to help. I'm going to do what I can to help them as humans.
Exactly.
To get out
as a human.
Exactly.
That's human kindness. It's humankind. It's mankind, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. There's a certain time of day to where bullshit needs to be set aside, and now it's real shit.
Yeah. And it is awesome that a lot of stuff is coming together, and people like that. James Woods, talking about he might not be able to save his neighborhood, but he saved his neighbor.
Yeah, exactly.
Because after they got him out,
if you could save one life, save one life.
After you got him out, an hour later, the house burned down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who cares about the house?
Right.
It's about lives, man.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of lives that are displaced. Like I said, like 170 something thousand people are being displaced. They, hopefully they have family members and, whatever, they can stay during this, time of, but think about it. Half of Stockton, like I said, it's big,
Yeah, and you know what? We are a couple Stockton boys. We're from Stockton, California.
Yes.
We're represented at 209, and I like to bring that fact a lot, that we're from Stockton. We got to get up to Stockton firefighters, because I saw a Facebook post where there was a couple fire stations from Stockton headed to LA to help out with the fires.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to find that post and showcase it, but yeah.
Yeah, you know, hey, we give it up to any firefighters anywhere
Yeah.
in the United States.
Now I'm just bringing to light how Stockton firefighters are going, but firefighters from a lot of cities are going to help.
Yes.
And that's
We got Cal Fire.
That's the United States way right there. That's the American way right there.
That's what it is. That's how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
You know, you help your fellow brother, you know, your fellow sister. You know, you help them, you know. And I think society nowadays it's easier to turn a blind eye and keep on going than to actually stop and help.
Yeah.
You know, and it sucks, you know, that
yeah.
You know, you see stuff going on and people just, oh, I don't want to be involved. You know, I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to, you know, but you know, I think that the world is a better place, you know, for, you know, servicemen, military, police, you know, firefighters, the whole that, you know, they go and help, you know.
Yeah.
And it used to be like that. You didn't have to depend on a force, you know, it was the neighbors that stepped forward, you know, and helped out, you know.
Those are the communities that strive are the communities that strive to help each other.
Yes.
If you're just solely relying on like a fire department or the city to come help, you're not going to do as well as a community to where everybody helps each other.
Right.
You know,
Right.
That's just,
and we have that right, you know,
yeah,
to help each other. But, you know, it's strayed far away from that, you know, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't even know what you call it, but to help the, you know, your fellow person, you know, in a time of need. Little things, like I ride my Harley, right? And going down Hammer, there was a elderly man in a wheelchair trying to get across Richards Boulevard or Richard Street, whatever. It's right here on Hammer.
Yeah, right there.
And he wasn't going to make it. And he didn't make it when the light turned green for the oncoming traffic. You know, he made it in front of the traffic that was going, but he crossed that medium, light turned green, traffic was going to come at him. I pulled my Harley right in front of all the traffic. I blocked off everything and let that man, you know what I mean? If I was going to get a ticket, you know what I mean? Or if somebody was going to run into me, they were going to run into me because I was going to block traffic so this man could get across in his wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's something that's fallen off. You know, if I was in my truck, I would have pulled my truck in front of all the traffic and blocked it so that he could get. But nobody else made the move. Everybody was starting to move into the intersection, you know, and like trying to make their way around this man, you know, because he was going to take a minute to get across.
I would like to think any Stockton cop that saw that would actually pull over to assist you.
Right. And I think they would.
And I would hope.
But why?
No cop would have a problem.
But why
with that.
couldn't those 3 lanes stop and let him go by himself? Is life that much in a hurry?
Well, a lot of people just aren't paying attention.
No, they could see the old man crossing that he's in the crosswalk.
You'll be surprised with how many people are on their phones, man.
Well, but even still, they're at a stop. This man's, you know, trying to make it across in his allotted 10, 20, 30 seconds, whatever it is.
And when the light turns, they just go.
Yeah, and they just want to go.
Cut him
you
off,
know,
yeah.
and they'll go around him and, you know, dude, I'm stopping traffic. I pull up on my bike, I pull up on my car, I'll block off traffic. I'm like, let this dude go on his way. I'm not in that much of a hurry in life.
Yeah. We need more of that mentality. The world would just be a better place, man.
Everybody's too much in a hurry to get to where they got to go.
Yeah.
And 15 minutes earlier leaving. And I get some people run late, you know what I mean? But
you want to know what I'm in a hurry to do? Slow the fuck down.
Exactly.
I'm in a hurry to slow down, man. I'm 50 years old. Hey,
take your time.
I'm at the halfway mark, man. It's time to slow it down.
Well, I haven't figured, you know, I mean, I'll be 52 next month. So I haven't really decided if I want to just run down the backside of that motherfucking hill he'd roll down to the bottom and see what happens, or
No,
just kind
let's
of
put the
stroke.
brakes on, man. Let's really start enjoying life.
I enjoy.
Let's slow it down.
I enjoy going fast.
Trust me, man.
Trust me.
Hey. But anyways, man, let's wrap up this video. I mean, the topic was the LA fires. As tragedy as it is, I mean, it sucks that we have to point towards like how come the fire hydrants don't work. Whose fault is it? Blah blah blah. Point fingers. It's just a tragedy that the fire department couldn't do their job to save lives, to save homes. When the fire hydrants were there for a reason.
Right.
And for them not to work, like, are you kidding me? That is crazy to even think about.
Yeah, and I pray that it all, works out for the best.
Yeah. Hopefully things change for the best.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand, like 170,000 people are displaced from their homes,
Yeah.
And I pray that everything works out for the good for everybody, in this tragedy,
Yeah.
that something, comes from these ashes, good, for the people that are, in this situation.
Well, there's no changing what already happened.
Right.
The tragedy of people lost their lives. But I would think what the good that can come out of it is change to where this doesn't happen again.
What I'm hoping and praying does not happen is that everybody's offered $750.
Oh, like what happened in the Hawaii fires? Everybody lost everything, and FEMA offered them $750,
something like that,
which was
the stupidest thing I've ever
the grand scheme of things
heard.
Is nothing.
Yeah, so let's keep our fingers crossed that and hope I don't know that situation in Hawaii, but I hope they're reimbursed.
Yeah,
to help whatever happened there, but if they do something stupid like that here,
well, time will tell. Everything is usually reported on. So,
well, may God keep his hand over these people and
yeah, exactly,
and their situation, and I pray that everything works out for these people. Definitely.
With that said, hey everybody, take care, and let's pray for LA.
Definitely. Amen.